Hey everybody, it's Denise back with Keto with Denise, and today I just want to talk about something that's really important. A lot of people are doing keto and intermittent fasting and encountering some of these issues. That's why I want to talk about the top 8 common mistakes that I want you to avoid when you're doing keto and intermittent fasting. Because a lot of people are doing these things, but I want you to be successful. So let's just dive right in. The number 1 mistake, doing keto without intermittent fasting. I talk to a lot of people that say, oh, I'm keto, and I ask, well, are you doing intermittent fasting? And it's like, what's that? I'm like, okay, let's rewind to help you maximize, because with keto with intermittent fasting is what helps you with insulin resistance. The two go together, and the two should stay together, and that's very important. So you don't want to do intermittent fasting and not do keto. You want to do them together. Hopefully that's clear when you're starting out, okay? The other thing that I want you to, well, let me rewind because I think this is worth noting. When you are going from 3 meals a day to 2 meals a day to 1 meal a day, that's what I'm talking about. Not this 5 meals a day stuff. It's 3 meals. That will incorporate some fasting. May not be your, 16 hours, but you're fasting when you're sleeping. You're fasting, up until the time you take in that first meal and then in between meals. So if you're moving from transitioning from 3 meals to 2 meals, that's when you're going to start to see even more results, and you're going to see some weight loss changes pretty rapidly. You're going to start to feel better even more so. So the longer you're fasting, even up to the 1 meal a day, you'll see some pretty major results. So keep intermittent fasting and keto together. They go hand in hand, okay? Eating when not hungry. This is really important because we're so programmed to just grab something without thought. We just, eat it, and it's like, I wasn't even hungry, but I ate that. When you're doing keto and intermittent fasting, it's going to be real important, especially, and let me show you this. If you're doing the 3 meals a day, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I'll put dinner right there and take this off. This is what I want you to make note of. If you are eating in between these meals, you're snacking, you're causing the insulin to spike. You're doing the old way of eating, the 5 meals a day. What I want you to consider, I'll get that. What I want you to consider is when you eat breakfast, make sure you're getting in your high fats. That's what's going to sustain you until the next meal. So if you get hungry between breakfast and lunch, check your fats because you probably didn't eat enough fat. So when you go to eat lunch, make sure you're getting in high fat so it'll sustain you until dinner. The same thing is true if you're eating 2 meals a day. So if you're doing lunch and dinner, then you want to get in the high fats here at lunch. The first meal that you take in, get sufficient fats in on that meal because that's going to really, really help you and sustain you until dinner. Same concept, you guessed it, if you were eating 1 meal a day. The key is not to eat in between these meals because you're spiking your insulin, okay? Very important. So eating when not hungry, cut it out. Get the fats, it'll sustain you, trust me. Sometimes you may look at this is worth noting too. Well, what if you're doing your 2 meals a day and you're not hungry when the second meal comes up? At that point, don't eat. If you're at a place where you haven't gotten in enough fat or enough protein, then you might eat a light meal, something very light, because it might be necessary in that case, okay? So typically we eat when we're hungry and we eat until we're satisfied, all right? The next issue, number 3, common mistake, is eating too little or too much protein. You need protein for the building of muscles, right? Too much protein turns to sugar in the body. So you don't need to go out and say, oh, you know what, I'm going to eat these 2 chicken breasts, which is high in protein, and I'm going to eat a cup of lettuce. That's not going to work. You're going to get a lot of protein in that meal. And if you're not eating enough protein, your body is going to try to find it, try to get it. So it's real important that you don't waste away because you're not taking in enough. So your muscle mass is starting to be affected. So just make sure you're balanced out. Remember, keto is high fats, moderate protein, low carb. So keep your protein in moderation. We said it in, I said it in another video. Your protein, if you're 3 meals a day, you should know this, 3 to 6 ounces. If you're doing 3 meals, stay around 3 to 4 ounces. If you're doing 2 meals a day, stay around 4 to 5 ounces per meal. And then 1 meal a day is generally 6 to 8, higher end of 8 being for men that may be, or women that might be extremely overweight, you might need a little bit more protein, okay? So just keep that in mind. Not eating or omitting vegetables, Remember, I have said this in a couple of videos already. This idea of dirty keto, you'll lose some weight. You'll lose a lot of weight because there are some things your body is adjusting to. But in terms of the healthy state of your body, that's a whole different thing. Because remember, those vegetables are supplying us with nutrients, minerals, and vitamins. That's why we're getting them. So if you're omitting those vegetables, you will begin to see symptoms, hair loss, thinning hair, because your body isn't able to get the nutrients in that it needs. That's what you're going to get your vegetables. And remember, we're always targeting 7 to 10 cups of vegetables a day. That's not a week, everybody. That's per day. So keep that in mind, okay? And number 5, this is really interesting because I hear it a lot. Too focused on weight loss and not your waist loss, okay? And let me explain it this way. When I started my keto journey, it was about health. It was all about health. I wanted off of blood pressure medicine, period. Didn't even know the issues of insulin resistance and the impact of it, but learned along the way that this was the culprit behind it. So when you're focused on the scales moving instead of healing on the inside, you got to be healthy to lose weight. You got to get healthy first to lose weight. I'm going to say it one more time. You've got to get healthy first in order to lose weight. Well, what do you mean? Well, when your body is going through improvements, it is healing from the inside out, the weight will come off. It's just a natural response to your body healing from the inside, your cells being repaired on the inside. So the weight loss will come. And you want to look at that waistline because remember I said the signs of insulin resistance is that protruding belly. Yes. So as that belly begins to shrink, you know that you are making some positive improvements on the inside too. So focused on your waistline, not your weight. Number 6, hidden carbs. I see it all the time. I get calls from people that I am coaching. My clients will say, you know what, I went up on the scales a couple of pounds this week. I didn't eat anything out of the norm. I kept my carbs low. And I said, okay, let's look at your journal. Let's see what you ate. Let's look at your tracking tool that you were using. Because we want to track some of these things just to make sure we have visibility to hidden carbs because they're out there. Everybody, hidden carbs are out there. And so we start to look at this and we see gravies, we see breaded items as hidden carbs. We see sugar, the thing says no sugar, and yet you see there's carbs. So just be aware, make sure that if you didn't cook your food yourself at home, that you know what's in it, and you decide to eat out, you know what you're eating, you know what you're getting, okay? Another issue is omitting electrolytes and B vitamins. We need those electrolytes, by the way. That's potassium, sodium, magnesium. Your body needs that, especially when it's transitioning from burning sugar to burning fat. So you don't want to omit these important elements of your journey. Okay, and the B vitamins, of course, are very important. And then lastly, number 8 is doing keto intermittent fasting halfway. Oh my gosh. You'd be amazed at what I hear. Some people say, well, I'm keto Monday through Friday, and then on the weekend, it's, everything goes. That's not how the healthy keto program or journey works. This is a lifestyle. We're in it to heal our bodies forever and to live a quality life. It's not, do well for 5 days and then load up on carbs and any kind of eating the next 2 days. You're just reversing the good that you just did and leaving your body in a state of disrepair, okay? So just be aware that those are things that this is not a pick-me-up, put-it-down kind of lifestyle with keto intermittent fasting. It is a lifestyle. It's every day. Hopefully that makes sense. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Hi, if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And by the way, click the bell too so that you'll be notified when there's new content like this. Thank you again for watching.